Tea time with librarians. Welcome everyone to Tea Time with Librarians. My name is Lacey Klemm and I'm the Northwest Regional Coordinator for the Indiana State Library. And our guest today is Judy Gray, also from the Indiana State Library. Judy, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for asking me.
Are you ready to spill some tea?
How about some coffee instead? I'm not much of a tea drinker.
I get it. I've got some water. So I do like tea, but I didn't make any today. So to start, please let us know what your position is at ISL and give a brief description of what you do.
I am the supervisor for the Indiana Talking Book and Braille Library. I am in charge of making sure that anyone in the state of Indiana who has a reason to need a talking book, a large print book, a Braille book, gets the services from us. And my staff helps them find the books they want, helps to record those books. We download books for them, put them in cartridges, and send them out. We pull Braille books. And I even have a part of the staff that works with volunteers to record books that aren't in the National Library Services collection.
That's amazing that you guys do recording of books. I think that's a great service because not every book gets an audiobook. So
We try to focus on books that are about Indiana or written by Indiana authors. So we can get the special Indiana books that people want to read, but aren't big enough that the National Library Service is going to go out and find them. We want to get those recorded so that people can hear them.
I think that's amazing. What a great service to have. I recently just got into audiobooks and I'm always a little bummed when I come across the authors that I love that just haven't had that opportunity to have their books recorded.
Yes.
So, but I listen while I travel and when I clean and do different things. So
I listen to one almost every day back and forth to work in my car. I love it.
I recently got into it because of the travel that I do, and I just have really been quite enjoying. And oh, what a cute mug! How cute is that?
Marie is my favorite Disney character, so I have lots of Marie things, but she's my mug.
Awesome. Um, I could talk audiobooks all day, so I will move on. So the Indiana Talking Book and Braille Library provides free library service to residents of Indiana who cannot use standard printed materials due to a visual, physical, or reading disability. Can you tell us a little more about how Indiana residents can use this service?
Sure. This service is a 100% free service. It's paid for in combination between the state of Indiana and the federal government. The Library of Congress sends us all of our Braille books and the majority of our talking books. We download them onto cartridges, the talking books, and send them out. Anyone who has a visual difficulty that keeps them from being able to read a standard print book or is totally blind can become a member of the program. Anyone who is physically handicapped to the point that they cannot comfortably hold a book, they are welcome to become a member of the program. And anyone who has a reading disability, such as dyslexia or even such as Down syndrome or something like that, where they just have never been able to learn to read, they are welcome to become a member of the program. They'd fill out an application. They would get someone who would be a certifying authority to sign off on it. What the certifying authority is it's a doctor, it's a therapist, it's a caseworker, it's even their local librarian. It's someone that they work with on a regular basis that knows that they have these issues and that they think they could benefit from being part of our program. Once they do that, then they send the application to us. We get them in the system. On their application, they actually get a chance to tell us what kind of books they like, um, what kind of, do they like romance? Do they like westerns? Their favorite authors, so that we can go in and put that into the computer. Then they get to tell us whether they want to pick their own books or they'd like the computer to pick them for them so that they can start getting books right away. Um, if they want audiobooks, the talking books come out on a cartridge and we send them a machine. Most of our machines look just like this. This is a advanced talking book player, and they just put a cartridge right here and they listen to their books. But we also have the ability to send them, if they'd like, Braille books. We have a collection of over 26,000 Braille books. We have Braille on our Bard system. I didn't mention Bard yet, did I? Bard is Bard is our online system. It's very similar to like Libby, except for it has more to it than just like Libby does. It has books on audio, but it also has magazines and it also has Braille books that patrons can use their Braille e-readers with.
Wow.
And the Braille e-readers are really fairly new and they're very, very cool because it allows patrons who are blind to take their books with them. Normally they couldn't because their books were 12 by 12, 12 inches by 12 inches.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were this thick.
Right.
Sometimes they were 10 volumes. So, they could take a volume if they wanted to go somewhere, but this way they can take their volumes with them. For folks that have visual difficulties, but can still read regular large print, we have large print offerings that we can also mail out. Everything we mail out is postage free. The federal government passed a regulation many, many years ago that is free mail for the blind or visually handicapped. Now it also includes everyone in our program. So everything we send to our patrons is free and everything they send back comes back free.
And with the shipping or you send them the packaging that they just put that back in and then just give it to their
For the audio,
mailman or
yeah, for the audio talking books, they come in a little plastic cartridge container. And when they're done with it, they put the cartridge back in that container. They flip the label over and they send it back to us.
easy peasy. That's always
Exactly.
nice.
That's the whole idea. We want it to be so easy because the way it's set up is that when they send it back, it triggers the computer to send them another one.
Oh, awesome.
Because we try to make sure patrons have 3 cartridges, one at their house, one in transit, and one with us, so that they never run out of books.
That's great. What a great service. I'm so glad that we are able to offer that to our Indiana residents.
It's just wonderful.
So, what talking book and Braille library service would you like for Indiana libraries to know more about?
Well, I think the big thing is just getting the word out to all patrons that we have that, because so many people don't know we exist. And it's such a good service, and you don't have to be blind. So many people think, oh, I can still see, I don't qualify. But if you've got macular degeneration and you're starting to lose your sight, we want to get you into the program, get you used to reading the hearing of the talking books. We want to get people that have the handicaps that don't keep them, the disabilities that don't allow them to hold the books. We want them to be able to use the talking books and get back to reading books again. We want the folks that have reading disabilities to be able to start actually listening to books.
Yes, I like that there's restrictions, but they're not so stringent that people aren't able to use the service, so that's great.
Yeah, and we have books for kids and adults. And a lot of our adults do use the kids' books.
Hey, the kids' books are fun.
They are. They really, really are.
That was my I was a children's librarian in the past, and that was my favorite part of the job, just being able to look at all of the children's books and read them and tell my kids about them and then as an even when I transitioned out of being a children's librarian and just I still got to look at the books and I
Yes.
always always a fun time with the kids' books.
I started many, many years ago as a children's librarian also, so I understand.
I think a lot of us had yeah, that's kind of where we started and then went into other positions, but the kids were always and I like seeing my library kids now that are grown. And they've
Yeah.
got kids of their own now, so I'm like, are you bringing them into the library? Make sure you bring them. You were a library kid, make sure your kids are library kids. So what motivates you most in your position?
Um, what motivates me most is the ability to help a different group of people. These are folks that a lot of times had no idea they could get these books. Um, and so it's just really a neat opportunity for them. They get so excited when they get their first shipment. A lot of times we get great letters from their family. When someone passes away, we'll get a letter that says how much they love the program and how much it brought them back to life after they lost their sight.
That's you're gonna make me tear up. That's
It's amazing the letters that we get. Um, and the staff, the two members of our staff are called readers advisors, and basically they answer telephone calls and they get the books to the people and they help them find books, and they're so good with the people. And the patrons just really appreciate it. They love the fact that we have the time to talk to them one on one and find the right stuff for them.
reader's advisory is so important. Just for any library patron that's coming in because some who have no idea what they want to read, we're really able to kind of like point them in directions and open them up to new topics and books and it's always the best feeling when somebody would come in and say thank you so much for recommending that book. I found a new author that I love and that was
Exactly.
that was always one of my favorite parts of the job.
Well, sometimes we have to find totally new genres for people because sometimes our patrons have been patrons for 20, 30 years. They've been blind their entire life and they've read everything. And we're like, okay, let's see what else we can find that you might like. And we start looking into totally different new genres.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that there's so many more options out there now too, for books and
Mhm.
like you said, new genres coming up or combinations of genres or so
Exactly.
open it up to them. I believe I read somewhere on the website that you guys do a conference like later in the year for resources for people with
Oh,
the
Vision Expo is this year.
yes,
It's the second Saturday in September. We do it every other year here at the State Library.
every other
We have,
okay.
yeah, we do it every other year. We have vendors and groups like Bosma, Easter Seals Crossroads come to the State Library and talk to folks that are blind or visually impaired, or folks that aren't, folks that have family that are. We have speakers each year that talk about different aspects. A travel agent who specializes in helping blind travelers.
Nice.
She was very popular. We're still working on that, so I'm not sure what all Abby has planned yet, but she does most of the planning for that. And it's so much fun. We have door prizes, we have the vendors, we have just a great time to get together with people you know, see the staff, meet your reader's advisor, talk to the different vendors that are here, find out, you know, is there something that you can help me with? Is there some great new program I didn't know about that I could be enrolled in? That kind of thing.
And it's free, correct?
It's absolutely free. If you park in the state parking garage, we even, um,
Validate.
thank you, the word was gone out of my head. We validate your parking ticket.
So for anybody interested, they can save the date for the second Saturday
Okay, in
in
September, give me just a second.
September.
I'm going to pop the calendar up and look at it. If I get my mouse, oh, here, there's the mouse. Yep, it doesn't want to move.
It never does when we want it to do something.
Exactly. Well, I have too many computers open right now because I don't usually use my laptop, but the camera's on the laptop.
There you go. I
um,
believe that is, let me see, I can pop mine open. September. Oops, past it. The second Saturday in September is the 13th. September 13th.
then that should be the day.
So they can save the date for September 13th.
Yes, exactly. We also want to let everybody know that if you work at a library anywhere in the state of Indiana and you would like to have us come out and talk to your staff or talk to your patrons, we go everywhere in the state. We'd be happy to come see you.
Oh, well, that's a service I didn't know about. So that's great that the libraries can have you come out and talk to not only staff but to their
To patrons.
patrons. Wonderful.
Exactly.
That is wonderful. So my last question is, and I ask this to everybody, what are you reading or listening to right now?
Usually I have one of both going. And last night I finished the book I was reading, and it was so good. I was so sad it was over. I just finished reading a book called The Cartographers.
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
And I had to write the name down because I could never remember her name or his name. I don't know if it's a man or a woman that wrote it. Ping Shepherd. But
Okay.
it was a book about map makers and how they would put purposely put mistakes on their map to keep other people from just copying their work. And when they would put a town, they'd make a town. When they put it on a map, it would become real if you had a map.
Okay.
So it was fantasy, but it took place in the modern world. It was really cool.
That sounds really good. I'll have to look that one up.
I
And
really
I'll
enjoyed it. It was on one of the Goodreads challenges this year, and I thought that looks fun. I want to read it. And the one I'm listening to in my car, I've been listening to on and off for a while, but it's really good. It's called Black AF History.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly what it's called. And it's by Michael Harriot. And it's pretty long, but it's done in a way that it's like someone is telling you stories about history. And it starts at the very beginning, and we went through slavery and we've been through everything. Now we're in the middle of the civil rights movement. And he does it sometimes as himself, sometimes he does it as his uncle. It's really funny, but it's really, really good. And I've learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I always enjoy nonfiction if it kind of like reads like fiction or
Exactly.
so but what a great book for the month of February also for
Well,
Black
I've been
History
reading it
Month.
for like
So
3 months.
well, we'll say it's for Black History Month.
I'll finish it during Black History Month.
But those long ones, yeah, they take a while. I had just finished Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, which is her
Hmm.
third book in her Fourth Wing series, and it was like 24 hours, so
Yeah.
it did take me a little while. because I don't always get to listen straight through. It's just, bits and pieces as I have time. So, but it was really great. And now I don't know when I have to wait for the fourth one, probably till next year or so, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
so, but my current read is it's called The Woman in the Garden, I think by Jill Johnson, and I'm just about 3 hours in, and I think it's going to be kind of like a murder mystery type thing going on. So,
Oh,
I'm intrigued to see what the twists and turns are going to be.
good. Sounds fun. I love to. They used to tease me, um, my staff at the last place I worked, because I would always say, I love dead bodies in my books.
I like a little romance in my books. Hopefully they're not dead. Well, I have read a few that have had some like ghost romances, but
Yep.
I can't even lie. But yeah, usually your murder mysteries are going to have some dead bodies in there. So
Exactly.
so thank you so much, Judy, for joining us for, I believe this is episode 5 of Tea Time with Librarians. And so I'm so excited to have had you on and talk more about this wonderful service that the Indiana State Library provides to our Indiana residents. And hopefully more people will become members and be able to get books shipped right to their home, and then they just ship them right back. I mean, how easy is that?
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to be here today.
Yes, thank you so much. And you have a great rest of your day.
You too.